All across the unknown world, rediscovery pushes ever onwards to find the lands and people lost. All thanks to our brave explorers.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm playing Vanya, the Wolfkin Warrior.
Hey, I'm Livy. I'm going to be playing Rayri, the Sprite Ranger.
Hi, my name's Theo, and I'm playing Cal, the Seldavon Guardian.
I'm Georgia, and I will be playing Alfrek Stormhawk, a Dragon Scent Bard.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Azakar, a Majani Seraph.
And my name is DM Dan, the GM in these adventures. The further we go, the more we learn of these magical tales from elsewhere. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Explorers of Elsewhere Live. Tales from Elsewhere, our regular Daggerheart Livestream Actual play. Hi, I am DM Dan, and these are my 5 intrepid adventurers, Nate, Livy, Georgia, Theo, and Dan. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. We have just done a big fight in the concourse, which is the location where all the portals to the capital city of Avamore are kept. Someone was doing naughty things with portals. You've managed to solve that, and you've now hurried through to a sleepy little town called Seldavon, a town that you sort of have visited in the past on a previous adventure, albeit keeping yourself up in a archmage's magical mansion up on a hill. But the Seldavon is of great importance to at least one of you, Alfrek, this being your hometown, but you've discovered that it appears to be of great importance to a dubious figure, a dubious man called Ganus, who has diabolical plans with Seldavon lying at the heart of it. You've just managed to defeat some Drakators, some sort of like centaurish draconic dragon spawn, and with their magical enchantments on the portal lifted, you have hurried through to the aid of Seldavon. So we rejoin you as you emerge out of the portal that lies just outside of Seldavon, the town of Seldavon. You can see Seldavon sort of like below you, slightly more into this sort of like valley. Off to your left, you can see the hill that you ascended some weeks ago when you attended Archmage Ulick's mystery guest dinner. Unfortunately, you never really got to meet him because he was killed before the party got started. But where his magical mansion used to be is now just like an empty... Well, it's an empty hill for all intents and purposes that overlooks the purple-roofed narrow houses that comprise Seldavon. Alfrek, as you see your town from, a very, very familiar sight, where's your mind at knowing that bad stuff is happening? Or due to happen, I should say.
He's very much, he's looking around, trying to see if anything is different about these very familiar rooftops. Trying very much not to look in the direction of one particular very familiar roof. That is his home. But I think he's mostly he's trembling with the adrenaline of actually and yes, trying very hard to keep his composure.
In which case, as the 5 of you hurry along the path that leads into Seldavon, Alfrek, you are clearly aware of the sort of like the larger stately like manors that are on the sort of like far side of the town, on a raised bit of the geography that sort of like looks over this relatively small but well populated town that survived the catastrophic events of the eschaton a mere 18-ish months ago. And as you sort of like make it into the town, as the five of you make it into the town proper, like fundamentally all roads, like the road you're in will lead you to the central town square. Alfrek, you know that the town square sports a rather garish statue of the now late Archmage Ulick. A commemorative piece. Perhaps you did or didn't know why it was there, really. I mean, Archmage Ulick was always a bit of a poser at the best of times. But now you know that... Well, did you know that he had his final encounter with Eindrith here? Or are you slightly concerned that perhaps that has been kept from you?
That's a good question. I feel like if it's something that the town was aware of in terms of it was a big flashy battle, especially considering the town was spared from being moved around geographically in the war. If that was sort of the one thing that happened to us that we are aware of, then I think I'll be very aware of it, especially considering his love of adventures and of that kind.
So perhaps you were aware of the Battle of Seldavon, but maybe you weren't allowed near windows. Your parents didn't allow you near any windows to watch what would apparently be an archmage fighting off a major, like a high-power dragon spawn. Okay, well, let's say the road that you're on leads towards the town square, so that's where we'll fundamentally pick up. And as the five of you arrive, let me preload that for you and then switch you in. We find you... let me turn on the lights.
Voice.
Can you all see?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, we find you on a rather wide street, again very familiar to you, Alfrek, that leads into the centre of town. In front of you, you can see the rather large, garish statue of Archmage Ulick. There are the various kind of market stalls scattered around this square. Again, that looks relatively normal. As whilst it was like morning in Avamore when you left, wherever Seldavon is geographically, it is now like dusk. The sky is starting to turn a bit pinkish as it's starting to descend. In front of you, you can see a number of like Seldavon civilians, just sort of like standing around muttering and murmuring to each other. A rather insular folk, I would argue, given that, we survived the war. But you can hear a sort of like a hubbub commotion coming from the town square itself. And between the five of you, you will be astute enough to recognise the voice of a particular Lorivar man. Gather, citizens of Seldavon. We come from Avamore with gifts of wonder and beauty. You hear Ganus shouting to the masses. What do the five of you do? Are you kind of rushing in? Are you going a bit more discreetly?
I think like the entire walk up, as we were like walking up, I just imagine Riri is just kind of just quite excited that we're in like Alfrek's hometown, and I just imagine as Alfrek's just kind of just like walking along a little bit apprehensive, Riri's just like in his ear, just like, so we're gonna see your parents, where do they live? How big's their house? Where are we going? What's the like, have they got a dog? But do you think that we can stay over? Do you think they want to do this? How long did you live here? And just like the entire time, just like like a little fly, just, and then just as soon as like that, she hears that voice, she's literally just like, hello, and just like, oh, this guy, oh. And she just kind of looks towards Cal as the leader of just Dad. It's him! It's him! We're gonna get him! What are we gonna do?
Let's go in quietly. We don't want them to, like... Quietly.
Sure. Well...
For now. There are lots of civilians here.
Yeah.
So quietly.
We could just get Alfrek to stab him. He's really good at that. I don't know why he's bothering with all the magic stuff. He's much better. He's much better at stabbing, isn't he? Do you think, Cal? Do you think?
He was very good at the sword stab.
Do you think? Okay. Because
We need to...
So, are the five of you...
Dad. On lips.
Are the five of you discreetly heading on up?
I think that's the best plan at the moment.
Discretion is our middle name.
Okay.
All of us. We're all discretion.
So, I'll go ahead... Oh, yeah, go.
I was going to say, just before we're heading up, if Alfrek is feeling sort of like a little bit like hesitant, and if people are sort of walking up in front of him, Azakar's probably just going to catch him unawares and put a hand on his shoulder and say, and you can find it's quite hard for him to sort of find the words, but he feels like he needs to say it. And he said, like, you did well in that fight, but the most important thing you did was you protected those people. Remember that as we go forward. And saying that, I would like to give my 4 prayer dice to Alfrek for him to use when he wants.
Okay. So yes, you have a +4 in the kitty to use as and when. The two of you, like...
Just imagine Cal behind him, like, yeah, good dadding, good.
As the two of you kind of catch up with the others, you begin sort of like slowly moving up, and like, you know, there's a big kind of gathering of civilians as they're kind of going, oh, what's this? Oh, is that a wizard? Oh, I think I thought I was a wizard. Oh, bloody wizards are just notions, aren't they? And as you sort of like arrive at the mouth of the street that kind of opens up into this kind of central town square, you notice, let me get these commoners out of the way. Out of the way, peasants.
Sling him to the side.
You notice that, well, you spy Ganus stood in the shadow of the statue, and he is flanked by 4 robe-wearing individuals. You see 2, well, Aloravar and Amasav are like closest to him, and in front of him there are 2 more like green robe-wearing individuals, but their robes look a bit more ornate. 2 keepers specifically, and they whilst Ganus has his arms up and he's kind of petitioning to the murmuring crowds, these 2 keepers seem to be sort of like towering over everyone, just kind of scanning, seemingly on watch out. I will ask for... I'm just going to roll... effectively, I'm just going to roll 50-50. So, on a 4+, things happen. And also, if anyone's interested... Who would we say is the most astute? Or has an experience that belies their perception? I suppose Vanier in his heightened senses. Vanier, you don't have a hope. you can roll a reaction check. A reaction instinct.
Reaction instinct?
Yeah.
Let me do that. Instinct.
Nice.
24.
24. Okay, very good. On a 4+, things happen. Okay. As the 5 of you approach, Ganus doesn't appear... Like, Ganus nor these 2 keepers seem to have acknowledged your approach. But, Vanier, you... From where you're stood, you get this sort of, like, sixth sense feeling creeping up your neck that actually... Perhaps you wonder if there are more people here than like meets the eye. And as you do a subtle kind of glance around your surroundings through a combination of sight and like shadows, like seeing shadows, you notice that there are 2 more green robe wearing individuals on the roofs of the buildings flanking you. And there are 2 other green robe wearing individuals in a pot market stand behind you, and hiding behind the tree behind you.
Do I get the sense that they've clocked us, or...? It
looks like they... Well, you notice that they are watching you, but... like they've acknowledged your presence, but as the keepers don't appear to have... The keepers in front of you don't appear to have acknowledged your presence.
I'll mutter under my breath, only so that these guys can hear us, like... 2 on the roofs. Some behind that tree. And that stall over there.
As you warn your companions, Ganus continues. Seldavon is a town blessed with history. A fortunate survivor of the eschaton, you have positively flourished under the guidance of the now late Archmage Ulick. I invite you here today to celebrate his achievements and to ask yourselves, what will the town of Seldavon do now Ulick is gone? Who will you turn to in the dark? Who will you whisper thanks to when you're alone? And the gathered civilians just kind of, what's he going on? He must be a wizard. He's a bit of a kook. But yeah, Ganus is still, Ganus has not noticed you. He's still doing crowd work. What do you, the 5 of you, want to do?
Wring his little neck is what I want to do.
Yeah. I want to choke slam him to the floor.
We just body him as a group collectively.
Just one big ball.
Yeah. Can we do a sort of 5 tag team?
Yeah. What would you like to do?
Say, do we want to make ourselves known? I mean, these guys have already clocked. We can't really get any closer without being seen. So I guess it depends if we want to snipe or if you want to just go
Fireball.
all in. You've got fireball.
Can we clock
Whip. But what if you did though?
Yeah, but
It was so beautiful.
little one.
Ray and Vanya is just on the sideline.
I wanted to ask, like, can we clock, like, because you mentioned, like, goods or something, like special things that Ganus was, like, presenting?
That's why I do not trust him.
Yeah, I'm like, can we clock what these are? Can we figure out what it is that he's got on sale?
Oh no, he's not selling anything. He's just kind of got his hands up and he's just
there with t-shirts.
Yeah,
with his name and his face on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm just trying to clock what it is that he's brought with him.
I have thought Delver. If I read his thoughts, all I'm going to get is evil.
Yeah. Surface level thoughts. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a potential course of action is to hold fire to see how this pans out. Okay, in which case, yeah, because he's not like offering the town anything. He's just sort of like addressing them public speaker style. But yeah, he continues. Without the protection of Archmage Ulick, we must turn to other benefactors. Benefactors that are surprisingly closer to home than one might think. And he produces in his hand the glowing crystal that he gathered from the Temple of Naravid in Merathesos. And as he holds it aloft, it begins to radiate light, like dazzling arcane light in all directions, that sparkle through all the hues of the visible colour spectrum. And like you hear a couple of there's a mix of emotion from the gathered crowds. There's a couple of like ooh ahs, and there's a couple of go wash that like the it's the perfect split of bewilderment and fear of the arcane.
What's his range?
He is currently 40 feet from Cal and 40 feet from you, Azakar.
Okay,
that
is him.
Far.
Yeah. Vinny does have an experience called Go Fetch. Just putting it out there.
I do have Fireball, and it can hit very far. That's
yeah. I
just sniping the crystal out of his hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say either Vinny can go and fetch the crystal, if we can roll that, or and then fireball him. I just wonder if the crystal will
Yeah, so I was going to think, if we hit it with something, is it going to just decimate?
Yeah. Only one way to find out.
I could levitate it out of his hand.
So,
levitate it.
Yeah, you two do a tag team of levitating and
levitate and fetch.
And then Vinny grabs it.
Yeah.
That'll be hilarious, and I'm here. I'm for it.
Would you like?
Cal doesn't know this is happening. I feel like this is something that you two are devising together. But Cal was just like.
Are there two furtive looks between Alfrek and Rayri that would encourage me to start combat?
I feel like Rayri would pull Alfrek down to impart this plan upon him.
Pull in the sleeve. I can get your cup to put it, and then
I could try.
Come on, it's your one good spell. It's your one good spell.
That is true. Yes.
Is someone casting magic? Because if so, that you'll have the surprise. Well, you have the surprise against Ganus, but I will put you into combat.
Yeah.
Are we all good with this? Are we
Yeah.
okay? Cool.
Yeah, let's fight. To the death.
Take that crystal out.
So I've only got 3 hit points left. It's all fine. It's all good. It's fine.
What?
We'll be fine. It's fine, we'll be fine.
It's alright, I can do healing.
Okay, in which case, who's
There's not spell slot still.
who's initiating? I assume it's Alfrek is initiating.
Yes, if I try and pluck it out of his hand.
Okay, let's start the battle music then. In which case, Alfrek, as he's talking, you and Rayri have this grand idea. Rayri, are you spending your 3 hope to tag team?
Would it be? They're both like checks rather than.
Yeah. So, well, I mean,
can I do that with a tag team? I'm happy to do it with a tag team.
Yeah.
so you effectively you spend the hope to do it simultaneously.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Okay, so you're if you drop yourself down to 1 hope, Alfrek, as he's talking and he's produced this large crystal in his hand, please roll me your presence spell check.
Yeah.
Do it
Okay.
again.
What do you need?
So I rolled a 7. I rolled with hope,
Yes.
but I rolled a 7.
Prayer dice. How many prayer dice have
I've
you
got
got?
prayer dice. I've got 3 prayer dice.
You've
4.
got a +4.
Plus 4. Yeah, I've got 4 prayer dice.
So an 11.
But shouldn't you wait to see what Living rolls?
Yeah. If I
Yeah,
roll
and
at
then
the
see
same
if
time.
that's
See if that's better.
Okay.
That's much better.
better.
So
We'll
20.
take the 20.
We'll take the 20 with hope. Okay, so Rayri is going to get hope. So, okay, how does this pan out? So, Alfrek, how does this look? Do you just sort of like step from the crowd with a of the violin, or do you want to say something witty before you do your thing?
I think he plans on saying something witty, and as he steps forward, he realizes he's in a crowd, and a crowd of people who probably know him, and he kind of like, he locks eyes with Ganus, and he kind of stumbles, and he just, and the sort of like spectral hand comes out of the violin, shoots towards the crystal that he's holding to grab it.
Okay. In which case, as the spectral hands kind of reach out to grab the artifact and like the crystal and lift it from Ganus's hands, like Rayri, seeing that as your
As I go, as soon as that first happens.
Is it Rayri on Vinny's back, or is it just Vinny?
It'll just be Vinny. So
Okay.
Vinny will go out individually from Rayri. He sort of jumps sort of up and over and just runs like an absolute maniac. And just Rayri's just and just kind of points towards the crystal.
Okay, so Alfrek, this hand, like Ganus pauses and sort of like watches as this spectral hand just sort of like materializes in front of him to grab the charged mana crystal that he's holding, and like as it begins to sort of like tug it from Ganus's grip, Ganus sort of like lunges forward and gets a better hold of it. So there's a bit of a tussle. As this happens, this large, like 4.5 foot tall chihuahua bursts out of the crowd. There's cries of shock and surprise as Vinny goes barreling towards Ganus and the green robe wearing individuals. The 2 keepers at the front sort of like clock Vinny, and you see them sort of like drop into ready defensive positions, but they're completely caught unawares by the raw speed of the pup.
It's crazy.
And as
I like to think that his bum's going at the same time. You know, when they get really excited and their bum just goes really fast.
Yeah. as Vinny leaps at Ganus, Vinny's like weight and momentum knocks Ganus back enough that the crystal slips from his hand. The spectral hand tries to grab it and misses, but then Vinny catches it in his jaws. So the crystal is in Vinny's mouth, and as it does appear in his mouth, you watch as there is an explosion of blinding light that
He's beautiful!
explodes into this kind of corona of chroma light, and Vinny vanishes.
Oh no! We killed Vinny.
Where'd he go?
My boy!
Vinny,
My boy! No, my boy!
Vinny is gone. And like Ganus has been rocked back, and he's sort of like looking around frantically. But yeah, there is now this sort of like thrumming. It's this almost like half orb of pulsating, coruscating light that's presumably emanating from this crystal. And then like the crowd just bursts into panic and screams. You've rolled with hope, so the ambush isn't sprung on you in any way, shape, or form. But as this portal, as this bubble opens up, you get Azakar, through your sort of like magic sensitivity, you recognise that it's got a similar feel to it as the magic that was permeating the Temple of Naravid when you went into that crystalline past. And you hear echo through the town square, "Meddlers," and this low, sonorous, booming voice that you've all heard internally, but now externally. And like you feel the tiles of the nearby roofs shake slightly under the bassy reverberance. Cool. As the defenders are currently, well, the Ganus and co are currently a bit confused. Alfrek, would you like to move?
I suppose he'd stepped out, so he'd probably started there when. I think he won't move. I think he's too frozen in horror. They just. So he's good there. He's fine.
Okay. Who's going next? Actually, you know what? Me's going next. I'm going to spend a fear and interact. So, as this rainbow sort of like bubble explodes out, Ganus is knocked back, but he recovers quickly, and then shouts seemingly to the sky, "Now, my lord, now!" he shouts. And Cal and Vanya, you're particularly astute observationalists. You feel like you watch as this wisp of like shadowy smoke descends into the rainbow bubble. But Ganus will join the initiative, and he's gonna go first. So Ganus steps round, and then spying the five of you, now that the crowd is beginning to disperse as they're sort of like running away screaming, because magic explosions are scary for people with like one hit point. Ganus sees the five of you, and like his face twists into a snarl, and he shouts to the gathered green robe wearing cultists. You realise, don't let them in. Don't let them interrupt our lord, he shouts. And he will mark a stress, choose a point in far range, and the 5 of you feel the ground underfoot begin to rumble and reverberate. As the ground erupts underneath your feet, and I need everyone to make a agility reaction roll, please. Ray bosses it. Oh wait, let me scroll.
Yeah, I totally bossed
Yeah,
it.
Ray bosses it. Cal bosses it. Vanya does not boss it. Alfrek does not boss it. Azakar does not boss it. Does Azakar want to spend prayer dice on people?
Yeah, we'll keep them for now.
Okay. In which case, so Vanya, Alfrek, and Azkar, those who didn't roll 14 or more, you are flung directly away from the eruption. So Vanya, you kind of like bash into the side of the building that you're next to and kind of get wedged into the cart. Azkar, you're blown back to there, and you clatter into a commoner. This commoner is hurled away, and Alfrek, you're flung forward into a commoner. Oof! The 2 of you collapse to the ground. The 3 of you that were thrown from this eruption take 15 damage.
Oofa doofa.
And you can reduce damage. You can use your armor normally against that.
Yeah.
Gonna use an armor.
Use an armor.
Okay. And yeah, the ground just becomes this like tragically difficult to navigate bit of terrain.
Take that.
So yeah, any movement over this difficult terrain will require an agility check of some sort. So yeah, Ganus fires off those. It detonates the ground from under your feet. And yeah, he seems to be shouting to these green robe-wearing cultists, who you realise are wearing similar kind of robes to those who came in through the portal. That is Ganus's turn. Who wants to take over?
I think Rayri, seeing Vinny disappear, is just gonna run at. Oh, my foundry went.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Is that everyone, or is that just me?
I think it's just you.
Yes.
Well, tell you what, were you going to run into portal?
I'm just gonna run to the portal.
Okay.
Just absolutely launch herself towards the portal.
Okay.
Just.
In which case, Cal, you watch as Rayri bolts past you into this like shifting rainbow-hued maelstrom that's just erupted from the ground in front of you, and Rayri, you're back now. Okay.
I'm
back. Materialize.
Oh, phew. He's still there.
You materialize in this distorted, crystalline reflection of Seldavon's town centre. Everything around, like the buildings around you, look like they're all in the same place, but as you glance around, you notice that the buildings are in various states of damage and destruction. There's the building sort of like immediately in front of you, the large kind of townhouse, that appears to have one corner of the building utterly demolished by perhaps siege weaponry, perhaps. There's rubble. You notice that behind you, just to your left, there appears to be like a body sprawled out on the floor. But you also hear the sounds of frantic fighting. And glancing behind you, you can see that there are clearly two sides of a battle engaged in combat in the street that you arrived in not minutes ago. Glancing around, you can see that all of the roads into this central area, there seems to be running street battles between who you assume to be defenders of Seldavon and some enemy invading force. And all of this pales in comparison to the image of the elderly Lorivar Archmage stood to your right, who is staring up at a coiled, winding, green-scaled dragon spawn that you immediately recognise as the one you saw in the memory.
I know that boy.
But what's curious is that hovering behind this crystalline manifestation of Eindrith is what appears to be a smaller, similarly rainbow glowing, smaller Eindrith.
Oh, he's got a little mini-me.
Mate.
He's got a little mate. He's got his own little Vinny.
Rayri, you have emerged in this manor memory of Seldavon, and you immediately acknowledge that this must be the final encounter between Ulick and Eindrith. And you know, based off what, as Alfrek's told you, what Meridis has told you, that Eindrith was defeated in this battle.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do?
Yes, I'm gonna have to fight everyone. I think it's just like the overwhelming flood of relief that Vinny is there with me, and he is fine and he is alive. So I think that's the first, like, oh my god, you're alive, and then it's like, oh shit. So I will mount Vinny.
Okay.
Sorry, Dan, you're gonna put us back together again.
So you jump on Vinny's back.
And I think we're just gonna kind of get out the way a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna move out the way. Can I use a new spell that I have, please? So I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you still got your action and the like.
Fab, how far can I go? 1, 2. I want to go more this way. Let's go down here.
I will say that in order to, because you had to scamper to get into the portal in the first place.
Yeah, I'm not going to have a lot of movement, am I?
Yeah, so, well, give me an agility check if you want to move.
Move again. Okay, let's do an agility check.
But that would be your action as well.
Okay, that's fine. So that's a 16. Can I move myself sort of down here some? Would that be...
Yeah. Well, as you sort of like seeing this, like what seems to be the start of the battle between Eindrith and Ulick, and like you jump on Vinny, you spur Vinny on to like scamper off to the corner of this kind of destroyed building that you were just stood next to a moment ago, and yeah, you hear this low, reverberant, echoey voice. You have plagued me for too long, Lorivar. This ends today. And as you scoot and sort of like look over as the like Eindrith uncoils and flies towards Ulick in a frenzy, as Ulick kind of brings this wand and staff to bear and lightning crackles from the ends of it. As you reach that corner, your vision crystallizes, cracks, and as you've rolled with fear, you are immediately jettisoned back into real space. And you kind of bump into this little Auran sprite that's just like a large chihuahua just appeared in front of her, and she, oh you screech to a halt. This Terran sprite on the other side of you looks to you and, bloody wizards! But yeah, Rayri, you are back where you started for all intents and purposes. And that is your action, unfortunately.
That's fine. I'm just glad I'm alive.
Okay. But yes, it would seem that the Eindrith and Ulick fight is playing out, but there seems to be a smaller, diminished Eindrith also present in the fight. Who's going next?
Doubly bad.
Can Cal just be like, he has gone through like loads of emotions in the space of about 3 minutes. I don't even know how many seconds it was, but before he could even like go to stop Rayri, planning to plunge in after her to make sure she was okay, for suddenly to just respawn next to him. I think that man is on the verge of a heart attack. He is relieved. He's like, don't do that again! But then also relieved that Vinny is also there. It's like, what happened? And he's like trying to do this whilst also trying to like figure out who he's fighting next, because he knows that we're about to get like attacked. Yeah. So he's just like trying to have a conversation with Rayri. So like trying to plan who is probably going to attack them next.
So I should mention, you would have seen this given that you were in sort of like real space, but when Rayri rematerialized effectively next to you, it was as if she had just run through like rainbow coloured stained glass. So like this like a crystalline shatter, and then the pieces just sort of like disappear, like melted into mana motes as Rayri kind of rematerialized.
It's like sword out, like, please don't run into portals again.
Well,
we don't know what they are.
We should go. Well, it's fine, wasn't it? Because I'm back here again, but I don't really know what happened. But it's like, you know, where it went all rainbow before, and then we were having a fight. Well, they were having a fight in the portal, and it's like that weird, like slithery man, and the guy, he's got two staves, and he's like, whoa! Except it's another little slivery one. There's like a double you know, what's his name? You know what I mean? You know,
Eindrith.
That's the one. He's in there, but there's like another one of him. I think we should go back in.
We should go back in.
Yeah,
you want me to go in the portal with you?
I just came back out again. It's fine, isn't it? You go in, you come out. It's easy.
You're going to be the death of me. Okay, let's go.
Cal, before you run in,
yeah.
Could I just spend an action very quickly?
Yeah, go. Please do.
Kind of overhearing as Azakar's picking himself up and hearing that you're going to run in. He still notices that you're quite hurt from the last fight. Before like as you're just about to rush in, he sort of grabs hold of your shoulder and he puts his hand on your chest, and emanates sort of like some divine light into you, and cures 2 of your hit points.
Thank you so much.
I will be a party pooper and say, because there's a move and an action, we'll just have Azakar take his turn now.
Yeah, that counts as an action.
Yeah,
so.
Perfect.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so Azakar has just taken his turn while Rayri's been like supersonic explaining the plot. You know what? Oh, I've got loads of them. Azakar, as you heal Cal, before you get a chance to, well, before anyone gets a chance to do anything, one of the keepers that were keeping watch that are now sort of like flanking this large rainbow vortex, as far as the rest of you are concerned, it hasn't been very long since Ganus said, "Stop! Don't let them interfere with our lord." So one of the keepers strides forward, has this rune-covered like metallic rod in hand, and like the keeper grabs it with 2 hands, twists the rod, and it separates, and what appears to be this sort of like shimmering green metallic chain between the 2 halves of the rod effectively falls out into the ground, and I will spend another fear in order to use this ability. So I'm down to 3. And if I can have everyone within close, so that is everyone. Can I have? Well, it just happens. So these green chains kind of melt into the floor and then spring up from the ground underneath your feet to sort of like wrap around your wrists and ankles, temporarily restraining you. When you go to activate, I will get a fear. You can break free of the restraints with a strength roll or by spending 2 hope. As these thick chains, magical chains, wrap around you.
Okay.
Cool.
Are they around Vinny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're all shackled. So that was who was that? That was his turn. So let's put him in the initiative. Adept. Okay. Now who wants to go?
Because I didn't actually get to take my go.
Yeah. Okay. We'll now switch
cool.
back to Cal.
That's cool. First off, he will react to the healing, which I think, as before the chains, like take their hands. I think Azakar's hand on his hand, he'll put over like as a thank you, and give him a very sincere. Yeah, basically, yeah. And then before they can really say anything, then the chains happen. But I think Cal is going to spend, is it 2 hope, you said?
Yeah.
Or a hope?
2 hope.
He'll spend his hope to, like, wrench himself away and say, I'm going. And he's going to use his action to jump into the portal.
I did forget for Ravi, but if I could have an agility check to get over the rubble.
He's a good agility boy, so it should be okay. I'm going to see, before you tell me that's wrong, I can reroll my hope die. How bad is my hope die?
6.
6. Go on.
I'll just do it. Let's do it. How do I... Oh, just roll a
Yeah, just roll a d6. A d12.
Okay, let's go. Same again. Alright, I'd take that anyway. Okay, so that's a... yeah.
You're doomed to be a 6.
Okay. Six. It is difficulty 14, so what I'll say is...
Would you like my final prayer dice?
Sure.
Bump that up to a 15.
Yes, please.
Okay. In which case, Azakar, as you watch as Cal sort of like strains against these magical chains, which then break.
Yeah.
There's a
just a shirt rip open. His shirt rips open.
Just at the biceps. Just either that or Wolverine at the end of the Deadpool 3 film. Just explodes. But yeah, Cal breaks free of the chains, and as he goes to step, Azakar, you see that the ground underneath him is woefully kind of loose, and as you kind of wheel it on, Cal, you are able to find firmer footing in this moment, and you are able to use your full movement, which can take you to the portal.
In I go.
To the rift. Okay.
Into the rift.
And as you disappear into the rainbow miasma, scroll, you emerge in this crystalline hellscape version of the town square you were just in. And as I described that, currently you are worryingly close to an archmage who is. There's a whip of lightning coming from the end of his staff. There's what appears to be like a blade of mana emerging from the wand, which is now holding like a sword shaft, as he's sort of like fending off and dueling with this dragon that's kind of like whirling round him, trying to confuse him by attacking from all directions. There's claws and like clamps of the jaws as Ulix fending off. And all while this happens, you see this smaller this smaller version of Eindrith lurking in the background.
Little guy. Get the little guy.
Get the little one.
The agility check was your action, so that like you are in. Please take a hope if you haven't already for that agility roll. Who wants to go next? I think it's just Vanya next.
Alfrek, is Alfrek already gone?
Started off with the.
I was the levitating.
Yeah. So
then.
So Vanya, you're.
It's just my fault.
So Vanya, you're kind of like caught in the corner. You've got these chains wrapped around you, but like you can either do a strength check or you spend 2 hope.
I'll do a strength check.
Okay.
Is that my action to do though?
It is.
I can't do anything else. So yeah, I'll have to spend my action to break out the chains.
Okey-dokey.
Strength check. Don't have any hopes. Do anything. 14.
Okay. This time it's even more graphic because Vanya doesn't have sleeves, but like muscles bulge as you like cross your arms and the chains snap and fade away as the mana is dispelled. But yeah, you are now free to move.
The only thing I can do is I'm seeing people run in to the portal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand much of what's going on. Vanya's just okay. Just
I feel like the discussion was loud enough that you'd have been able to hear.
Okay.
So I think you heard Rayleigh be like, "A bat and a portal."
I'll move 30 foot into the portal.
Okay.
So I do reach with my 30 foot.
I think you grasped big slithery man and smaller slithery man. In portal.
So if you move yourself to the centre of the portal, I will teleport you across.
Oh. Come on. 10 movement collides with at least one more.
Oh, yeah, hang on. Let me... Yeah, Vanya can vault a cart.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Runs through it.
He just bashes it on the way like
no. Vanya takes the long route. Hold. There we go. Okay, and
Vanya runs across time and space.
you materialize also in this sort of like crystalline amalgam of the town centre. I mean, certainly. Well, now the two of you are here, you're able to take in just how much larger how far does this extend? That this crystalline memory, it's certainly larger than what you saw in the Temple of Naravid, and that was a whole temple. But yeah, as you look around Vanya, like your senses are almost screaming at you because everything just seems like wrong and distorted. The cries of battle from behind you coming through as if someone's shouting at you through multiple panes of glass. But yeah, you have emerged to find Cal looking up at this dragon spawn fighting this archmage. Your action was to break free, so that's your action.
and that was my move.
Yeah, and you roll with fear, so I will now I will activate as two of you have jumped through the portal. Ganus looks up to the roofs and now you fools, and Rayri, Azakar, and Alfrek, you watch as two figures vault from the roofs. One sort of like bounces on the cart and then drops to the ground next to you, Alfrek. This cultist Fang will mark a stress. And Alfrek, can you please make me an instinct reaction roll?
Yes. 12.
Okay.
With fear.
So we won't have to worry about the fear, but as this cloaked figure jumps down, you notice he's wearing a mask. He has these two sort of like wrist-mounted blades attached to his forearms. But as he pounces down, he seemingly almost like he has two hands on your shoulders, has you in this firm grip, and Azakar and Rayri, you hear this as this cultist Fang and Alfrek vanish and rematerialize on the other side of the square in the shadow of the townhouse.
What is this timey-wimey? Portally-waterly. Bullshit.
As Alfrek, I also need you to mark 2 stress, please.
Teleport stress.
Teleport stress. The seconds, I will now add him to the initiative tracker. The second one leaps down and... Let's do it to Alfrek. To Azakar.
Alfrek again.
Azakar, can I have a 50 an instinct reaction roll, please? And I'll spend a fear to activate this second guy.
14 with hope.
14. So 14 is a fail. So the two Rayri, you watch as Azakar is pounced upon by this sort of like cultist assassin, and Azakar, the two of you, bamf. Ooh.
Off the map.
Off the map. Yeah, Azakar, you are teleported into this sort of like little cul-de-sac wedged between two buildings. You kind of emerge out the shadows. Please also mark 2 stress as these two assassins kind of separate you all. That's my turn. I'm gonna move it on to round 2. Who wants to start the round?
Can Alfrek respond to this sudden portaling? Which he was not. He did not approve. Oh, it vanished.
We've got you. There you are.
Where am I? There I am. I was on another side of the map. He is going because I assume he's still being held by this cultist.
So the cultists have sort of like let you go now that you've teleported.
Yeah.
But you've realised that in letting you go, you are now open to stabbings.
Stabbings and smatchings. He is going to cast Runic Circle. Creates a temporary magical circle on the ground around me. Any creature in melee range circle who enter range take 2d12 plus 4 magic damage and are pushed out at the end of their action.
Oh wow! Okay. Is that does it just appear, or do you have to roll for that?
I think it just happens.
So it's people within melee range, and they get pushed to.
They get pushed out of the circle. It doesn't say, so I assume they get pushed out of melee range.
Yeah, just okay. Fine. So as you describe to me what this magic circle looks like as I create your circle.
I think Alfrek would have been grabbed while he's still holding his violin, levitating the crystal. So I think it's kind of been clutched to him as he was grabbed, and then as he was pulled out, he's been able to kind of like do one long shrieking musical note, and it's kind of exploded outward into this circle at his feet of sort of glowing blue light.
Okay. And this cultist will take... so if you roll your 2d12 plus 4 magic damage...
Yes, I think that's... Yes. 17.
17 damage. That is severe. Okay. So this assassin... What type of like magic damage do you expect this to be?
That's a good question. I assume if it's musical damage, then it feels like it's bludgeoning damage. If he's being forced by, or do you mean what element?
I could imagine almost like perhaps slicing winds.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, in which case, this fang of Wender High is positively shredded. So when he finally stumbles out, he looks awful. He looks like he's just suffered severe damage and is not enjoying himself. But yeah, he's blown back, like collides with the floor heavily as you sort of like this magical rune circle erupts from you, like from the ground around you. Very good. Are you moving or are you staying put in your circle?
I will stay put in my circle now that I've been taken across the map.
Sure. Who wants to go next?
When Azakar and Alfrek bamfed, would Riri have any idea of where they went, or was it literally like whoop?
You watched the two of them descend into their own shadows.
Okay, so they just wouldn't know where they went.
They have melted into the ground.
Only one thing left to do then, which is jump into a portal.
Okay.
Or do I want to...
Well, so you're currently still chained, bear in mind, so it's 2 hope or a strength check.
Yeah. I forgot I'll spend my last 2 hope because my strength is not it. Does that mean that's my action, so I can only move?
No, so because you're spending the hope, that isn't an action. Because obviously that's a bit expensive thing to pay. So you're able to sort of like wiggle your way out. It will be, because you're on the rubble, it will be an agility roll too.
No ways. Do I want to go to the portal, or do I want to give Ganus and Noogie on my way out? No, I just jump in. Let's just go. Just go for it. Just go for it.
Ganus stood there going, "Why is no one stopping these fools?"
He's small fry. He's absolute small fry. So agility roll.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yes.
Yeah.
17.
You're absolutely fine. You've rolled. So I'll take the fear. So let me add that on, and then I move to you, and then I pick you up, and you materialize. Bam! You emerge once again into the crystal scape, where Ulick and Eindrith are currently fighting. That's your action and your move. I will spend the fear to interrupt. And I think, because, you know, there's 3 of you here now. We're going to watch... We're going to activate Eindrith. And first of all, he's going to claw and bite Ulick. He rolls a 13, which isn't a hit. He goes to clamp down on the mage, but the warding shield holds firm, and Ulick fends him off. snarling, he moves backwards away from the Archmage, and you realise that the Archmage is between you and the dragon spawn. And I will spend another fear to basically give myself an additional activation. And Eindrith breathes deep and then unleashes a gaseous breath attack. And you watch the air sort of like distorting as this breath flies towards you. And as you find yourself in the path of this breath attack, and you kind of naturally go to shield yourself, I reckon we'll call it there.
He's gonna get us. Instincts 19.
So,
That's a massive reaction roll.
Yeah.
So
19? Jesus.
We'll just leave that there for next time. If you are enjoying this, or you are wondering what's going to happen to our poor intrepid adventurers, make sure to follow us on Twitch, hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, and just have a little check of our stuff. We're going to be back doing another live stream in a fortnight's time. And that will be the finale of this this tale of Dragonwrath. So yeah, very, very excited for all of that. We'll be fine. You'll be fine. Everyone survived a dragon breath, right?
Maybe. If I do really good at my rolling.
maybe. Yes. So we'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, those of you watching, and hello to the new people in chat. It's good to have you along. Thank you, you five, for playing. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's
Level up again.
Level up again. Yeah. No, I reckon you deserve the outro music. Cool. We'll get that outro music on. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. Make sure to tune back in for the next episode, and have a look at our stuff to see all the other actual plays and live streams that we've done in the past as well. Campaign 3, we have a release date for it, so news of that will be coming up soon. Very excited for that as well. But oh yes, boy, there we are. Yes. Thank you all. Sorry, getting distracted. ADHD brain. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.